All right, hey everybody. It is time to discuss the end of the 2014 West Michigan Winter Movie Draft. As always, I am Brad, the guy who does this. Obviously, we kind of went with a lot of updates this winter. I managed to get a little busy. Things happened, but we still had a movie draft that was troublesome, to say the least. We had a lot of movies that really underperformed. We had one movie that spectacularly overperformed, and in the end, the winner ends up having a huge asterisk next to its final position. So with all that in mind, you know, spring has sprung, the fat lady sang, so I guess let's get down to business with where things finished. Fifth place with, well, let's see, $477.1 million. That was Aaron and Jake. A lot of movies that didn't pan out for Aaron and Jake. Foxcatcher definitely probably being the biggest surprise that it didn't make very much money, especially considering it was nominated for a couple Academy Awards. Penguins of Madagascar, I believe, was their highest gross, or no, excuse me, SpongeBob was their highest grossing movie. Who would have expected that? Tough movie choices, to say the least. Fourth place is Ben and Brittany with $605.1 million, just to give you an idea of what kind of space we're talking about here. Ben and Brittany had a lot of movies that performed decently well. So obviously Big Hero 6 being the movie that I believe did the best for them. Unbroken was up there as well. Interstellar making pretty decent money, but just, you know, a lot of movies just falling short. Nightcrawler and The Judge. Nightcrawler definitely could have been helped with some Academy Award nominations, which it arguably deserved, but it didn't get, which is really unfortunate. Third place is Corey and Mark with $675.3 million. They had Gone Girl, which did great out of the gate. They had Hunger Games Mockingjay, which did okay. It didn't make as much money as what I figured it would, and that probably didn't help that it's the movie that kind of leads into everything that's exciting, so it didn't get great reviews, which doesn't always help. What else did they have? Hot Tub Time Machine 2, which barely even came out. Mordecai, I think, was out for a grand total of a month, if even that. And The Wedding Ringer just kind of just added a little bit of money to the pit. But between Mockingjay and Gone Girl, they did all right, but it wasn't quite enough to get up into the top spot. Second place is Breen and Ryan with $738.2 million. Now, they had a bunch of movies. They had the most movies out of anybody. They've had the widest variety of movies. But they had a lot of movies that didn't quite hit in the ways that we expected them to. Alexander was a, well, it did okay for a kid's movie. Fury ended up doing pretty good as a World War II movie. Exodus bombed at the movie theater completely, which I think kind of surprised me considering that it came out just before Christmas, and it being more of a holiday type story. It probably could have done better in the spring versus the wintertime, just a guess. Night at the Museum 3 really didn't ring any bells. Into the Woods kind of bombed based on a lot of people's expectations, given how good Maleficent did the year before. Kingsman, I think, was a surprise hit in the way that nobody really saw it coming and ended up being really good. And it made a decent amount of money. But 50 Shades of Grey is the movie that really, I think, shocked a lot of people because of what people wanted. It wasn't written or acted. And in the end, I think the people who saw it or wanted to see it most saw it the first week and said it wasn't very good, and nobody else really went and saw it, and the movie ended up making, you know, less than 200 mil when a lot of people were guessing it to do in excess of 300. So that's pretty disappointing, and it hurt them in the end. Which leads me to the winners with an asterisk is me and TJ with $792.9 million. Basically, TJ and I won on a fluke. And when I say we won on a fluke, I mean arguably we probably shouldn't have won. So on paper, yes, we won, but it doesn't really feel like a big win because we had the whole fiasco with The Interview, which is a movie that we had purchased early on, anticipating that it would make a decent amount of money and be released. And in the end, it saw a very small theatrical release at less than 50 theaters across the country, went almost straight to Netflix within a month, And I guess the theater run, they're not going to officially tell us how much it made, but they're estimating somewhere less than $30 million. They never said really how much the movie made on digital sales or anything like that. So it's hard to quantify. But anyway, we sniped, or we put in American Sniper. I guess you could say we sniped it in. I originally didn't include it with the list of movies because of the subject matter. I didn't think it was going to be something that took off because the last couple of modern war movies did okay, but they didn't do great. And it ended up making the most money out of any movie in 2014. Who knew? So TJ and I, you know, we had Birdman, the big Oscar winner. That movie only made a little bit of money. We had Horrible Bosses, which tanked. The Hobbit 3 tanked compared to what expectations were. Taken 3 did okay, but it tanked compared to its previous movies. So without American Sniper, there's probably a pretty good chance we would have been in contention for 4th or 5th place. So who knows? It's hard to say. But we won. Hooray, me and TJ. We will carry the banner further. That's 2 wins in a row for TJ, so we will have to see how this goes going into the summer. Now, speaking of the summer movie draft, we do have it coming up fairly soon. Understandably, we had a couple of movies that are coming up quick, specifically Fast and Furious 7, which we wanted to include, but to get everybody in on time for the release next week, it's just not going to happen. So we are going to leave that movie out, unfortunately, which means that there aren't a bunch of movies that can really compete with the Avengers. There are so many huge tentpole movies, specifically the Avengers and Star Wars, that it's hard to say what's going to be balanced here. So what we're going to do is we are going to be doing the summer movie draft, preferably in the next couple of weeks on a Sunday. We'll figure 8 o'clock. Obviously, we want to dance around the Game of Thrones premiere because some of us do want to watch that. But what I'm thinking is probably either the 12th, which I think is the Game of Thrones day, so maybe the 19th. I don't know. Maybe we could go as late as the 26th, but we have to be before that week. But the Avengers releases, which is on the 1st of May, if memory serves correctly. We'll do it then. I know Sean Wanhala wants to get back in. If you or anybody else you know wants to get in, we can see if we can organize this. We're trying to limit the number of movies this time because we want to make this a very high-stakes game because, I mean, with the Avengers, Avengers stands a pretty good chance being the first movie of the movie draft to clear over $500 million by the end. We've also shortened up the time frame as well. We're going to start in May. We're going to end in early September instead of going all the way into the end of September, or excuse me, early August, because we want this thing to wrap up quick before we jump into the winter movie draft because, again, the movies are stacked really heavily this summer and this winter because Avengers and Star Wars. So it's going to be pretty aggressive. But just to give you an idea of the big tentpole pictures that we've got coming out, we got Avengers Age of Ultron, we've got Mad Max Fury Road, Tomorrowland, San Andreas, Jurassic World, Inside Out, Terminator Genesis, the Minions movie, Ant-Man, which is the new Marvel movie. We have Pan, Pixels, Poltergeist, Fantastic Four, Goosebumps, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and Straight Outta Compton. There's a couple other movies weaved in there that I think are going to do pretty well, but it's hard to say for sure because we don't really know what exactly is going to pan out this summer. I mean, obviously the Marvel movies are guaranteed hits. I think if the Avengers sells for less than $50 in this movie draft, somebody got away with a ridiculous deal. That movie is going to clear $500 million guaranteed, and I almost guarantee whoever has the Avengers going into this movie draft, they're probably going to win. That's just the safe bet. So it's a matter of picking those right movies that are going to hit going on. Other movies, just kind of mention quick, Pitch Perfect 2 is a sequel in there. Mad Max is going to be a big deal, I think, secretly, but it's hard to say how it's going to be in the United States. Ted 2 is also in there. What else we got? We got the Peter Pan movie. I think I mentioned that. Straight Outta Compton, I think, is going to be an interesting documentary drama at the very end of the summer. That one's about NWA in Los Angeles in the early 90s, so I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, we might add a couple of movies in there. We might take a couple of movies away. It all depends on how many people are in there. As of right now, I have 22 films on the docket, and that can definitely change. It all depends, too, on the release dates that get shifted around. But as I said, I want to make this one fun. I want to make this one challenging. I'm definitely going to be promising to do better updates because this past winter, it was tough with how busy I was. And that's not really fair to you guys because you know, you want to see how you're doing. And I think if this sounds like an okay idea, I might offer one of you guys to be a secondary commissioner, give you access to the document. So if you have the time and you want to update it, you can update it. That would be great. I'll still do the videos. I might get back into the editing videos thing again. It all depends on how much time I have. And that hopefully will be a lot more this summer because what else do you have to do in the summer, am I right? So with all that in mind, guys, feel free to hit me up on Facebook, on Twitter, or here in this YouTube video comments thing. If you want to be part of the 2015 West Michigan Summer Movie Draft, we'll try to get it figured out and see where we can pass people along. You know, I definitely laid plans to do an Iron Draft this year to carry all the way through May to December, but I canceled that at, well, at the stress level idea because that's too much. But I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the start of spring. I will hopefully see you in a couple weeks when we do draft day. Until then, go see a movie. Go to the movies. There's a couple good ones out there. Kingsman, It Follows. Well, pretty much those two right now are the only good movies in theaters right now. So go see those. But we will see you very soon and have a good rest of, well, I guess it's the weekend. See you then.